It's a little bit cold, is it? Yep. That's okay. Okay. Nyonji Khenpo Tsoten Meja Zone Molam Khenpo Ngabjada Bakardar Ngazanda Yarmada Atomba Tuje Janla Ki Shansa. Good morning. Uh, Today, this is not working, right? I don't know. Can you hear me? Yeah? You want to keep it? Oh, that's a different experience. It will be good, actually. So today, the topic for the teaching, working with emotion, maybe working with expectations. So that means in working with emotions, with positive emotion, negative emotion, we are dealing with they call dualistic mind and thought and perception. Of course, emotions have deep roots in us. What Buddhists call old habits, and they are very strong, very, very strong. So we usually deny emotions until finally they explode and cause hurt to others or hurt to ourselves. And then we feel like it will never get better. Like we're always going to have a bunch of emotions, and deep down there is like a volcano waiting to explode. But we have to understand that emotions are just emotions, which means they come and they stay for a while and then they go away, right? So first of all, the definition of emotions is feeling such as happiness, love, positive emotions. And then we have anger, fear, stress, sadness, which can be caused by the situation that we are in or the people we are with. That's what I think the definition of emotion is, a feeling. Maybe you have different definition, but they are mental states. They are disturbed, whether positive or negative. And Buddhist point of view, usually emotions are connected with feelings in the body, like tightness or openness in the heart. So that is the definition of emotions. In order to understand and talk about emotions, first you have to understand the definition. Otherwise, especially in the Buddhist teachings, whatever your subject, topic, first you have to understand the definition. Then it makes you easy to understand. So that is, I think, the definition of emotions. And the question is, why do we have so many emotions, different emotions? Of course, there are different answers to this question, right? People say different things. But from a Buddhist point of view, we have so many emotions because the root cause of emotions is our selfish or egoistic perception and ignorance, especially because we don't actually see things completely as they are, either relatively or ultimately. But the truth is fundamentally there is a just open space, the basic, they call it the basic ground. What we really are, our most fundamental state of mind, before the creation of ego, basic openness. It's very important to understand this basic openness. If we realize that basic openness, then our emotions are completely gone. And everyone has the capacity to recognize that basic openness, because that quality is inherent is everyone. So that is the truth. But we don't understand that truth. That's why we have so many different emotions. That is the truth. You can also call it, like they call the Buddha nature, or you can say nature of mind. Nature of mind. That is the protection. That is our refuge. So, for example, when you take refuge in the Buddha, it actually means that you have confidence in your capacity to understand your basic openness. When Buddha was very old, just before he died, he said, "My dear disciples, don't take refuge in anything outside of you. It means if you recognize that openness, then that is the best solution to your negative emotions. If you recognize that basic openness, even though you have like strong emotions, you can diminish or whatever, like right away. Once you recognize this open or basic openness, then they are gone because they are not nature of your mind. So that's I'm like generally speaking, that is the best solution. Eventually you will understand if you practice. But if you are not there yet, or if you lose it, this basic openness, if you lose it, then of course there are also some other good solutions for when you have such a strong negative emotions. So I'm not going to talk about this basic openness today, but I will try to explain the other good solutions for you today, okay? I will try. Maybe it will help you, maybe not, but I will try. So you see, fundamentally, the reason why negative emotions are painful and overwhelming and frustrating is because our relationship to the emotion is not correct. That's Buddhist point of view. There is conflict and a feeling that we are being overwhelmed by our negative emotions, that we are losing our basic human nature. So if you are emotionally sensitive, you may not trust yourself because you can't predict how you will react in different situations. And sometimes you don't like yourself, and you don't like people in your life. Sometimes don't accept your emotions. They think you are sort of overreacting and too sensitive person. And sometimes you have difficulty finding your peace. It can be a challenge, right? And if you are emotionally sensitive person, your emotions tend to come in more quickly and last longer than other people's emotions. That's how you feel. If you are emotionally sensitive person, for example, anytime other people are upset, you also feel just as upset as other people do. From a Buddhist point of view, if you are an emotionally sensitive person, then, or especially like, the Tibetans, Tibetans' point of view, if you are emotionally sensitive person, then you feel shame about being a sensitive. So you try to hide your feelings. Tibetans. um, because you may believe that if you show your emotions, then other people will see you as a weak person. Uh, but I think sometimes we need to show our emotions. And other times we don't need to, right? But every time you feel a strong negative emotions such as anger or fear or jealous, etc., you can do something, care for that negative emotions so it doesn't destroy you. So you should be able to transform it. Otherwise, it can be overwhelming when emotions are strong and you feel stuck and unable to get out that emotion. But with your practice, you can learn how to take care of uh, your emotions. And I think the fundamental nature of the emotion is just energy. And uh, if you are able to if you are able to relate with this energy, then you will have a little more sort of space or peace and will be less afraid of that strong emotion the next time it comes up. And they become a sort of natural process. And when there is no panic involved in dealing with the emotions, then you can deal with them properly. But usually people do is when there is a strong and overwhelming emotions, uh, or what do you call it? You make busy, yourself with other things like like you read a book or you watch television or you play music, etc. You do sort of anything and everything. You can try to turn your attention to something else so that you kind of forget your negative emotions. This kind of practice or exercise is kind of drug. I would say they are just temporary solutions, right? And sometimes they work when you are very overwhelmed by your negative emotions. Then you do something else, right? It's a good idea. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But if you use sort of these distractions to deal with your strong emotions, and if they work temporarily, your mind will be a little sort of more calm because you forgot your emotions for a while. But they're still there, right? Still there. You cannot completely diminish them through sort of these distractions. So this is not the best solution for dealing with your emotions. But, it could be good for a temporary solution. Temporary solution. You should remember this. Sometimes I have heard students say that they are able to notice their negative emotions, and even though they notice them, they feel kind of helpless to stop negative emotion, like they have no capacity or ability to deal with their emotions. So I think you should not think like that. That is like you giving your emotions more power, right? And letting them destroy yourself. But that's what most people do when they get upset. So I think strong emotions are like a storm. They are very dangerous. If your negative emotions are very strong and overwhelming, then you need some sort of good methods and good solutions. Otherwise, they will destroy everything. So when I say you need some method, a good solution, means like you need some very simple methods for taking care of your emotions when you're caught in a stone one, like fear or anger. Anger is good example. At this time, this situation, usually people think, okay, yeah, okay, I have a strong emotion. I can see it. It's coming. I have very strong. This is anger, like for example, very strong emotion. Then you think like, what is the solution, right? You see it's coming. So it's then you think about the solution. Okay, you think, okay, the solution is the meditation, and then you try to meditate. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Usually people think, right, especially like Buddhist people think, okay, this strong emotions coming, so what is the solution? Okay, meditation. It's then you try to meditate, oh my God, you can't actually. Your mind is so strong and overwhelming, you overwhelm. It's very strong. And my meditation doesn't work at this time, this situation. It doesn't work. Believe me. Or sometimes you try to say mantras, Om Mani Padme, Om Mani Padme, this. It doesn't work. Sometimes you say prayers, like Buddha, will not work. I mean, this of course depends on your personality, But I think for most people, this kind of methods, meditations, recitation, visualizations, all of this will not work at that moment. At that moment. Although, this morning when I wake up and I had a very bad headache and my stomach upset, and I said, oh no, I'm going to sick. I'm going to sick today. And I said, I can't sick today. I have to, I have teaching and these things. And I say some prayers and mantras and I felt like it's working. And then I say more mantras and prayers and then I went to bathroom and throwing up and After that, it's like almost completely gone. Usually, this is not my first time, right? So I know. So it takes like 7, 8 hours, sometimes like all day. But this morning, it's like, oh, I thought, okay, I had a very good motivation. So usually I always say, right, your motivation is the thing. You go to work, you meditate, whatever you do, you have to correct your motivation. You need a kind mind. I think it works if you have that good motivation. Then whatever you say, you meditate, you say prayers, you mantras, everything. I think it works. But usually, like negative anger, like emotions, very strong. Then usually, if you try to meditate, it doesn't work at that moment. At that moment. So in this situation, very strong emotions, when you have this situation, you should try to do something like physical with your body. Mindfulness can be good practice in this situation, this moment. Mindfulness. When I say mindfulness, you should know that there are many different mindfulness, but they are like major, like there are 4 kinds of mindfulness practice. Mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of mind, and mindfulness of dharma, or mindfulness of phenomena, everything. 4 kinds of mindfulness. Of course, you know this. At this time, your emotions are very strong, for example, right? And overwhelming. Then what you need is practice mindfulness of the body. It can help calm your mind and your sort of overwhelming emotions. For example, you can focus on how something feels to touch, or for example, like take a shower with very cold water and feel the water on your body. Or it's another good is like taking a sauna, I think that would be helpful. I take sauna every day. But I don't have really, I'm not sensitive, like emotionally sensitive person. I'm not. And good thing is I don't have very strong and negative emotions. But when I get sick, I can't handle. When I try to meditate, when I'm sick, it doesn't work. It's very difficult. So that's why I'm saying, like, when you have very strong, overwhelming negative emotions, try to meditate. I don't think it's work. So I have emotions, of course, right? But they're not very good things. They're not very strong. But anyway, taking sauna is very good. You feel like you release everything. You feel like, this is mindfulness of body. And there are so many ways, you know this, right? You can go on a walk and be mindful of your movements. And also like breathe in. Breathing can also be really helpful here. Taking deep breaths and try to be aware of them. Like not only focus on breath, also be aware. This thing's very good. If you're, I'm not talking about general emotions, but if you have very strong, right, very strong emotions, then these things like mindfulness, practice mindfulness of body is best, I think. And then you do this, and once you have sort of cooled down from doing this kind of practice, then your mind will be ready to practice like mindfulness, meditation, mindfulness of mind, meditation as a solution to your emotions. Then it's work. You can sit down on your cushion and then you, whatever, practice, mindfulness, mind is really good at this time. Otherwise, as I said, when you have overwhelming emotion and you try to meditate, it's very difficult. Generally speaking, meditation has two aspects. Stopping and calming is the first. And then looking deeply to transform is the second, right? So the first method is try to focus your attention like on the breath. Just breath, nothing else. If you were previously like overwhelmed, this can be a continuation of the mindfulness of body that you were practicing. And try to not think of anything. Breathe deeply in and out through your kind of whole body. Practice in this way for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And then maybe the strong emotions will pass on through. That first step, for example, if you try to meditate, just focus on your breath, deep breath, in and out, nothing else. And you will see it will help. So if you understand how to practice looking deeply, then you will be able to identify the cause of your negative emotions. And then next time a strong emotions arise, it becomes easier. That is the first method. And then second method is investigating your emotion, which is actually developing your wisdom. As I said, the root cause of we have so many different emotions because of is ignorance. We really don't know when we have this kind of strong emotions. We don't know how to deal with. We don't know how to. It's what is the cause. So if you investigate, this is the second method. First time you can't investigate, it just doesn't work. But once your mind a little bit calm and practice on breath, And then second method, you have a little bit of room and your mind is a little bit calm, and then you can investigate. It's very important because this part is your wisdom. You're developing your wisdom. Now then you will have a little bit of room to acknowledge your emotion. So first you need to identify what kind of emotion you are feeling. Then you should investigate the cause of that emotion. By doing this, you will be more prepared the next time the emotions arise. You will be able to more easily identify the emotions and its cause. And then you will be able to apply the appropriate antidotes or solutions. That is kind of second method. And another way you can look deep into your emotions to transform it is discover the true nature of that emotion, which is the emotion doesn't actually exist as a negative emotion. If you can do that, you will be able to transform the emotion right away. That's why, as I said, that's why this is, if you recognize and understand the nature of emotion, that is the best solution. But it's really hard. It's really difficult. If you can, this is the best and easiest way to control your negative emotions when they arise at the beginning. This is, we are not just guessing, right? We have so many good people. We have examples. When they have emotions, they just recognize the nature of emotions, then it's gone right away. That's it. But it's not easy. Means like you have to meditate a lot, and your mind is not stable because we meditate and we can't stay very long. Our thoughts, perception, emotions, whatever the feeling, all time arise. Our mind is so busy, so we cannot practice or we cannot meditate on the nature of emotions. Otherwise, there is you will see it. You will see it. You will experience. There is nothing that exists like negative, emotion. So there are many solutions, relative solutions, ultimate solutions, and another good technique is I think to learn from others who have experience in working with their emotions. We should learn to practice the way, like for example, our teachers practice to let go of their own emotions. I can see that. I have that experience with my teachers. That's another way to learn how to deal with emotions, to learn from others who have lots of experience in working with emotions. We always say, let go, right? Let go. It's not easy. We can say, I will say, try to let go. Okay.
You mentioned the cause. Two questions I have. You mentioned the cause of the emotions. So when you say the cause, do you mean the internal cause or the external cause?
There are lots of causes, conditions in order to, right? External cause, internal cause, that most, like the root, the main cause is the internal.
But okay, so when you say that you can, when you recognize the nature of the emotion, when you let it go, but sometimes it is triggered by something, and there is still the compelling need to act on, that thing and take care of some problem. Like, I mean, just very extreme way. Somebody's trying to attack you, and you know they're going to attack you. You have to do something to protect yourself, and that can cause an emotion. So I cannot just simply let it go because I have to counter that threat that I see externally to my job or to my physical safety or something. So, I mean, how do I balance that, the internal awareness of the thought and letting it, the emotion and letting it dissolve, and the fact that it's triggered by something from the outside that might need some action? So there is like conflict that, that there are two things, and how do I find the middle ground? And if I, that's often the cause that, oh, you have to do something. I mean, it's not immediate, but I have to do something, and then my mind is, I have to plan this way, I have to do this, and I'm not able to let go.
Oh yeah, that's not easy, right?
Right, right.
It's not easy, but usually if you're working with emotions, you can do it. Working with emotions. Suddenly, if you have something like that kind of situation, it's very difficult. Somebody, hurt you, and then you get angry back, right? And then the situation get worse. Um, but usually, or every day, you think about your emotion, working with them, and try to be mindful. Practice meditation. All this, when you have that kind of, you encounter this kind of situation, then it will help. Otherwise, like as I said, when you get sick, for example, and then people say, "Oh, practice taking in, what do you call it? This giving in, taking meditation." It doesn't work. You know, People say, "Oh, I'm get sick, so okay, now I feel like everybody like this is very suffering, so I'm going to take their suffering." You know, it doesn't work if you don't practice like daily. When you have such that kind of difficult situation, and at that moment, as I said, your negative emotion is so strong, and then you try to meditate, it doesn't work. So you have to be aware, and usually you have to really train your mind, and then possible you can handle the emotions. So that's why every day we have all the time. We have this emotions comes all the time, right? Every day. So that moment you have to remember and try to recognize the solutions, and especially this mindfulness, practice mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feeling. Um, Sometimes when you investigate your emotions, then you can fix it. You can see the cause. Okay, this is the cause of my emotions, so you can fix it. Sometimes you can't fix it. So then you have to sort of, try, let go of your worry, stress. If you can't fix, then why you, but if you're a very good meditator, then you can handle no matter they are strong or they are, you know, but if you're not there yet, then it's difficult. Then that's why I try to explain you you should try to do this kind of mindfulness of body. You need sort of temporary solution. When you do these things, it's still your emotions there, but it makes your mind a little bit calm, and then you have sort of room, for do other things, investigate the cause, and then think about the solution, try to meditate, all of that. So meditation. Now, if you want to meditate, then the instruction for the meditation is looking at your mind and try to without thinking. It's pretty simple, but looking at your mind and try to not thinking, it means there's not two actions though. When I say like looking at your mind and then try to not thinking, sometimes people understand, oh, there's two actions, but it means like when you look at your mind, that act of looking is enough. Because when you do this, you are already without thought. So looking at your mind, then you see you are already there, no thought. So that's it. That's the instruction. So this meditation is called rest in meditation. Rest in meditation, or just to sit in meditation, because you're not doing much in this practice other than just sitting, and means looking at the mind. Looking at the mind. Looking at the mind without thought means don't make new thoughts. Or don't think about existing thoughts or past thoughts, So once you have a calm mind, then you will be able to practice clear seeing meditation, which brings a deeper level of insight, which is the direct seeing into the mind's nature. In this way, when you are focused on your mind, your concentration is directed towards looking at your essence of the mind. It doesn't work very well if your mind is disturbed and having a lot of thoughts when you try to meditate. So the technique is you should meditate for a short time. I'm talking if you are very beginner, So try to meditate for a short time and frequently. and you meditate for a while, right? So looking at your mind, and if you have no thoughts, you meditate for a while like that, and then you will feel, or you have a good meditation. Means like no thoughts, very stable, very peaceful, very clear. Your mind is very clear. Like that, we call good meditation. Then you feel very happy with your meditation. Now what do? You should stop there. Don't try to continue. People usually think, oh, when I'm very happy with my meditation, and then my mind is very stable and no thoughts. And I see my mind and clear and everything like that. So I want to continue to meditate because it's good. That's not good idea. So you, for a while, first you have to try to meditate, and it takes few minutes, and then you have very deep meditation. Then you should try to stop there. Why? Because there are two reasons to stop meditate. Or meditate for a short time. I said for a short time and frequently, right? If you're a beginner, there are two reasons. First reason is like when you have a clear or good meditation, if you stop there for a while, then next time you will be excited, very excited to practice again, right? Or I had a very good meditation. I'm very happy, feels good. So you are really excited, to practice again. That's, I think, first reason. And the second reason is if you meditate for a short time, then your meditation is very very pure. Short time means like 5 minutes. Then take a break. Then your meditation is very good, and pure, which means your meditation is without distractions. If you meditate continuously, then your meditation will get sort of, like worse, because then your thoughts, right? Thoughts arise, will come back, and then you follow them. Then many thoughts, right? One after another, like that. So that's why meditate short time is good. Because, for example, two people who are having a great conversation. They have a nice coffee and then very nice conversation. What do? I think should not let their conversation continue for too long, because if they stop when it's going really well, then next time when they meet, they're very excited. Both people will be, excited to continue the conversation. Okay, we had a very good time, very good conversation, very excited next time. So your meditation is like that. When you have very good meditation, stop there, take a break, and then you meditate again. Very good. So the instruction for the meditation is looking at your mind. Looking at your mind, try to, without thinking. So in this way, you are focusing on your mind. Your concentration is directed towards looking at your essence of mind. So when you try to do this, if it is difficult, then another method is you should, what do you call it? Some, focus on breath meditation. You try to. This is what we call the rest in meditation, and looking at your mind, try to know thoughts, and then it doesn't work. Then you should do is like focus on your breath, few minutes. Then once your mind a little bit calm, and then you meditate like that. Look at your mind. Do you want some meditate? Yeah? Do you have any questions about meditation? And I say, huh? Oh, you're cold, right? I'm sorry. It's okay. So just to relax, first, try to focus on your breath. Breathe in and out. Now you should try to look at your mind. When you look at your mind like that, very gently, and you will see it, this basic openness. And this space, then you relax there. Try to relax there as long as you can. Once your thoughts arise, Then you try to look at your mind again. Don't follow your thoughts. So they're going to disappear. So when you see this openness, then you meditate and relax there. All right, take a break. Warm up.